example of rebranding in action, and a lot of those former Disney people, totally, like Ariana Grande and the girl from Wizards of Waverly Place and stuff. There's a lot of rebranding going on there, from being like child TV stars to like pop stars. And remember the twins. What were the twins' names?
The Olsen twins.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot of not great stuff there, but there's a lot. I mean, they had like fashion empires and stuff, and all the stuff. And when you look at where they started and what they turned into, in some cases, rebranding is also growing with your audience. Now, I'm not necessarily saying as a child artist, but people's lives change, and I guess it's a matter again of, oh God, I sound like a broken record, Bob. Know your audience, know who it is you want to reach, and how to best reach them. And that's all you really need to do. I believe that. So when you're rebranding, you got to say to yourself, okay, what was unique about my situation before? Okay. So it's her and it's a guy and a girl. Great. Now what's different now? Okay, it's not a guy and a girl anymore. It's just the girl. Now, how does that change? What did he bring to the table, let's say, in Ellen's situation, that you don't have now? And how is that going to change your message? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and what is she bringing to the table now that she didn't bring back then?
Exactly.
Which is probably even a more important question. Yeah.
Right. I know. I've spoken with Ellen too, and one of her things was, she's not used to performing. At least I'm sure things have changed now, but when it first happened, she wasn't used to going out there by herself. Now, I know she's very capable. She's great songwriter, singer, performer. But, when you have that group there, or that duo, or that support, that you're not out there by yourself, and now all the focus is on you. You know what I mean? I understand that.
Yeah, it's such a huge switch.
Right.
You just sort of grow into it, just like you did, all the other aspects. I'm sure performing as a duo was uncomfortable the first time you did it. Now,
here's an interesting thing. Okay. When you're asking for advice on, our best suggestions, you do have a choice to make, and this is a tough one. When it comes to, and actually this happened to me, so I can definitely speak to this. When you do make a big change, whatever that is, a new band member, a new music style, new direction, whatever, you got to be prepared that maybe your old fans are not going to follow you. Some of them, or maybe not even any of them. It's possible. And so you're going to want to make a decision about whether or not you even want to cater directly to the people you used to before, or be ready for the rejection. I remember, this was a crazy one. It was way back in 1982, I think. And I was playing country music, and we had, 4 guys in the band, and we wanted to do a 45 record back then. Back when that was your only choice at the time, not because it was hip like it is now. And,
45 record.
A 45 record, yeah. And so there was this couple that would come see us all the time, and older couple, and they loved the band. They gave us the money to make the record. So we made the record. They were really excited about it. But then in the meantime, I had changed bass players from a guy to a girl that was from another band who they hated, and they hated her band. And when they came out to see us, they were just so disappointed. And I never saw them again. They just, bam, they gave us money, and they were going to get behind us and help us out. And then they just said, oh, we hate her. And I never saw them again. It's really sad. So be prepared, when you do make changes and rebrand, that not everybody's going to be on board. However, I'd like to say that version of that band went on to become way more popular than the original group, because the girl that we got was a much better musician and a much better singer. So then it opened us up to a lot of new people, but we weren't able to bring everybody, with us. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. So just a couple of thoughts on just overall branding or dealing with your fan base. So regardless of whether you're switching gears or not, here's a principle I just want to kind of throw out there. You're always sort of dealing with or juggling 3 different types of fans. That's one way to break them down, and it's basically the story of the Christmas Carol. Remember the 3 ghosts that visited the Scrooge? It was the ghosts of what? The past, present, and the future, right?
That's right.
And so you could say, we think of your fans in that way too. And so there's the past fans. These are basically people who used to come to your gigs or have purchased your music in the past, or they're on your mailing list, but you haven't seen them in a while. And maybe the only way you can communicate with them is through email, hopefully you've got their email address. And so that's one group. And then so another group is your current fans. These are people that are actively supporting you. They're showing up at shows. They're buying the new stuff. They're sort of interacting with you either online. They're on your Facebook page, leaving comments, blah, blah, blah. And then there's future fans, people that you had not connected with yet, but there's something about them that makes them predisposed to like your music. And so no matter what you're doing, you're always juggling. You need to really think about those three different types of audiences. And so when you're rebranding, I would say that you want to reach out to those past customers that knew you from the old identity and say, hey, here's my new thing. Let's you're welcome. I would welcome and encourage you to, come with me if it speaks to you. Your current fans should already be embracing the new thing that you're doing. They're sort of like your core group. They're the people that you really want to cater to and show your appreciation and, heap praise upon them, make them, realize how much they mean to you. And then the future fans, especially when you're rebranding, it's like, who's this new group of people that I'm trying to attract? And that's your big message. It's like, who are you appealing to and where do you find them? And so you have to actively be seeking out, going to the places where the people who would embrace this new identity would be. But I don't think you have to ignore the past. I think you should use, again, that energy, whatever was built up, and invite those people to follow you. But then you'd be seeking out those new fans with the new identity. Kind of a simplistic way of looking at it, but does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does. But, I think we're jumping the horse with all these things. Can we just go back to Branding 101? And Bob, can you explain in middle school English to me what exactly is branding? What are the elements of branding, just so we know what we're talking about here?
Sure. Well, it's your public identity. I say public identity because it doesn't have to incorporate everything there is to know about you. It's sort of like your brand is the thing that you sort of lead with in your marketing. And it basically sums up you got to quickly sort of sum up a number of different factors. And actually, I've told this story in workshops over the years about really what an effective brand identity combines three things. It's who you are, what you do, and then the unique way that you do it. And then that third piece is the all-important one. And I use the example of talk show hosts, and I put up a photo of Oprah Winfrey, and I go, let's examine Oprah on these three criteria. And I say, who is she? Well, she's Oprah Winfrey. That's her name. What does she do? Well, she's like a talk show host. And I mean, now she's more than that, but for years she was basically a daytime talk show host. And then the unique way that you do it, that she does it, and people say, well, she's inspirational and she kind of appeals to women and get this self-empowerment message, So, and I said, great. So let's compare Oprah to another similar, to someone else. And I put up a picture of Jerry Springer. And I say, who is he? Well, he's Jerry Springer. What does he do? Oh, he's a daytime talk show host. And so if you only stop the comparison there, then we could easily confuse them with each other, And then I tell the funny story about, will you ever hear someone having a conversation like this where, I was watching this show where some guy, he'd been sleeping with his brother-in-law's wife, and he picked up a chair and he threw it at him. Was that on Springer or Oprah? I can't remember. I get them confused with each other, but you don't get them confused with each other because it's that third piece of the unique way that they do it that sets them apart. Otherwise, they're just they're both daytime talk show hosts, but they do their thing in a unique way.
So I wonder then, based on what you just said, if Ellen's question truly is about branding, or if it's about branding and then getting people to attach themselves to your brand. You know what I'm saying? Because creating a brand doesn't seem like it's that difficult to me. It just sounds like this is who you are, this is what you want to do, and then maybe if you want to attach, some style to that visually, whether it's a logo or certain color schemes or certain clothing or the way you look, that stuff, so people can like logos, like the golden arches, whatever, bam, that's the brand, it immediately, right? Mm-hmm. So but really, you could be branded out the the butt here. Oh gosh, this show's going down the toilet, and it's all my fault, folks. All my fault. Bob is a good, clean living guy. But
family oriented classic rock.
Yeah. The funny, yeah. I'm the family entertainer, right? I'm talking about wazoos here, but the thing is, though, now what we're talking about is they got this brand, you have this identity, but how do you get it out there so people, you can make it attractive? That law of attraction. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's probably a topic for a whole other show, but I just thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah. And so, it's all about attracting, but having a brand identity and being able to communicate who you are and what you do, the unique way that you do it, is the thing that's going to help you. So when those people out there who don't yet know about you, but they're predisposed to like you, when they see your message or hear your song, see your photo, read a description of your music, they know right away that it's for them. That's why if you communicate in sort of a watered down way that doesn't really say, they won't even notice you. And so you want to put yourself in a position so when those people who really do resonate with you, they're going to know right away, oh, this looks interesting. And you're right. It's your sound, it's your look, it's your photo, how you dress, how you appear in public, the promo photos that you choose to post on your website and all that good stuff. But I think, logos are part of like corporate branding. But to me, I'm really into personal branding, which is where I think the independent artist has a great advantage for the fan to get to know them and their values and the things that they support and their attitude about things. Are they progressive? Are they conservative? Are they pro environment? You can that's part of your brand too, is what you stand for. So it's many things wrapped up, but are you able to clearly communicate who that is so people aren't confused about what you do?
That's really key what you just said there, and I hope that everybody listening is really paying attention to what Bob said right now, because I believe that a lot of people are confused when it comes to, let's say, even just what branding is, because I bet you that if we were to poll, I don't know, 10, 100 people, whatever, you pick a number, and we said, what is branding? We're talking musicians here. I bet you people would start talking about logos and websites before they even think about, personal branding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem, because you have to be what you're going to be before you can even think about the next steps. There's what you're saying then, Bob, if I hear you correctly, there's different levels of branding and different steps of branding that are used for different purposes, correct?
You definitely could say that. Yeah.
So we're not talking about today. We're not talking about your logo. We're not talking about your the image, the corporate image. There you go. That's a good word for it. The corporate image. We're talking about your branding, your message, and how you can connect with people and how to use that, right?
Yeah, and it's about who you are as a person and an artist. But again, it doesn't have to be about everything about you. I can't remember if I've ever mentioned this in a previous episode, but I wrote a book back years ago called Branding Yourself Online. It's out of print now, but I did a series of interviews in there, and one guy, this is a great way to sum this up, but he basically compared branding to the way that a caricature artist will draw someone's face. They'll usually what's a popular person or something, and they'll take one element of their look and exaggerate that. Like maybe it's the nose, maybe it's the eyebrows, maybe it's the ears or something, and they'll exaggerate that and make that huge, and then they'll sort of diminish everything else. That's what a caricature is, And I think that's a great way of looking at branding, is you choose those things about you that are the most important for your public image, and you accentuate those, and then you sort of downplay everything else. That's why you don't want to say, oh, I can play all kinds of music. You want to focus on what's that thing that sets you apart that you want to be known for, and lead with that. And then once people are in your world, you can let them know about the other stuff that you do. But you sort of have to pick and choose what it is about you stylistically, attitude-wise, personality-wise that you want to emphasize when you brand yourself.
Beautiful. And I guess the other thing I would add for Ellen and everyone else who's trying to have like multiple brands, more or less, because Ellen, of course, I see her having 3 brands right off the bat. I see where she's got children's music that's educational. I see her with her Jewish, stuff that she does, and also with her gluten-free diva. Now, myself, I'm kind of right in that wave myself. I've got Mr. Billy, which is the family classic rock kids music, right? I've got Big and Tall, which is bigandtallband.com, and that's our grown-up version of Mr. Billy, basically, where we do like classic rock and nerdy originals. Okay, I've got a new project called M80, which is like all 80s music that we're taking on the road in January. I don't know if I told you that we're going to Wyoming and some other places doing 80s music for fun. And I've got the whole, music marketing mind thing. So I've got like four different brands that I'm juggling right now, and each one has its own unique set of, rules and audiences and all that. And it gets a little tricky, a little dicey there.